Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Diaspora Network, where we celebrate Nigerians making remarkable strides around the world. I'm Teniola Oyetayo. On today's program, it's all about the Olympics. We celebrate Nigerian Olympians who have achieved great heights on the world's biggest sporting stage. We speak to Simidele Adiagbo, the first African and Black woman to compete in skeleton racing at the Winter Olympics, and a passionate advocate for youth and women's empowerment through sport. But before all that, let's get up to speed on the latest news from the diaspora.
Attitude, then walk off.
The Nigerian Olympic team, the Tigres, made history this month by becoming the first African team, male or female, to reach the Olympic quarterfinals in basketball. Point guard Ezinere Kalu scored 21 points, while Palas Kunai Akpana had 7 section-leading rebounds, and Promise Amu Kumara had the most assists at 6, leading to a victorious 79-70 feat against Canada's national women's team. Their last win was back in the 2004 Athens Games, when the team won 68-65 against South Korea, although the team did not make it past the quarterfinals this time, following their most recent win. Mfon Udika, who was a member of the 2004 squad, said she's really proud of them putting Nigeria on the map again after 20 years, and that she hopes it doesn't take another 20 years to see another victory for the country. This win comes 3 years after she was disqualified from the 2021 Tokyo Olympics due to administrative errors. Speaking after her win, the 28-year-old said she's happy it's happening now and that everything happens for a reason. Away from the Olympics, Nigerian-born opera singer Francesca Chiellina has been honoured with the 2023 Young Talent Award presented by the UK Critics Circle. This award, which was decided by a panel of 90 esteemed music critics and journalists, marks a significant breakthrough in her promising career. Francesca moved to the USA at the age of 9 and grew up in Michigan. She started practicing her singing skills while obtaining a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Michigan. As her passion grew, she then decided to pursue it professionally, bagging a master's degree in music from the Guildhall School of Music and Drama only 2 years later in 2016. 2023 represented a real breakthrough for the soprano singer, with outstanding appearances in all 3 Scottish operas Il Trittico. Simon Pusey with your Diaspora Network News Wrap in London.
From track and field to winter sports, Nigerians are making significant strides in athletics around the world. In our special report today, we explore the stories of some Nigerian athletes who have broken barriers and set new standards in their sports at the Olympics.
The Olympic Games, originating in ancient Greece and revived in 1896, is the world's foremost sports competition featuring summer and winter events with athletes from around the globe. Celebrated every 4 years, it has become a global phenomenon watched by millions. Nigeria first participated in the Olympics in 1952 at the Helsinki Summer Olympics. Although they didn't win any medals in their debut, it marked the beginning of Nigeria's journey on the world's biggest sporting stage. Over the years, Nigerian athletes have made significant strides and achieved remarkable success in various disciplines.
Goal for this athlete. Chioma Ajunwa of Nigeria.
One of Nigeria's most celebrated athletes is Chioma Ajunwa, who won an Olympic gold medal at the 1996 Summer Olympics, becoming the first Black African woman to win an Olympic gold medal in a field event.
But almost half-hearted in some ways. It's not going to be measured. It was a foul, but Ajunwa is Olympic champion. And I have to say, in terms of the field events, one of the biggest surprises of these Atlanta Games.
Enefiok Udobong is another Nigerian Olympic gold medalist. He was part of the 400-meter relay team that won gold at the 2000 Sydney Olympics and a bronze medal at the 2004 Athens Olympics. More recently, Ese Brume, an outstanding track and field star, made history by winning a bronze medal and a long jump at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Blessing Oburududu also made history in the 2020 Olympics, becoming the first wrestler representing Nigeria to win a medal at the Games. At the African Championships in women's wrestling, she holds the record for the most gold medals with 12. In Taekwondo, Nigeria's Chika Chukwumerije left an indelible mark by winning a bronze medal in the men's 80 kg category at the Beijing 2008 Olympics. And despite Nigeria's hot climate, the country has also made strides in winter sports. Nigeria competed at the Winter Olympics for the first time in 2018, sending 4 women sliders to the Pyeongchang Games, 3 in bobsleigh and 1 in skeleton. At the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics, Samuel Ekpefa became the first Nigerian male Winter Olympian, competing in cross-country skiing, with his best result being a 73rd position in the sprint event. These and many more Nigerians are flying the country's flag and showcasing the boundless potential that lies within every Nigerian.
And now let's turn our focus to our guest today, Olympian Simidele Adeagbo. After making history as Nigeria and Africa's first female skeleton athlete at the Winter Olympics, she has also become the first African athlete to compete in the Bobsleigh World Championships, all while advocating for women and girls through her foundation.
Hello, how are you? 6 months ago, I had the privilege of becoming the first Nigerian to compete in the Winter Olympics.
As the first Nigerian Winter Olympian and the first African and Black woman to compete in skeleton at the Olympics,
I dared to do something that no Nigerian had ever done before. Voluntarily hurl myself headfirst down a frozen ice track at 80 miles an hour with my face just inches from the ice. This is also known as the sport of skeleton. And the sport of skeleton goes something called a sled, which is essentially a tray about the size of a large suitcase. As you're going down headfirst, imagine being on a giant frozen water slide with massive twists and turns, going at speeds about as fast as you're traveling down the freeway. Now, as you're navigating down this track, you have no safety belt and you have no braking mechanism. And with your heart beating faster and faster and your vision getting blurrier with every turn, for about 60 seconds, it's just you, the ice, and the sled hitting and bumping walls on my way down the track. We call these hits, and hits are to be avoided at all costs. Hits, no matter how big or small, and keep pushing forward.
Simidele is now on the path to the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympic Games, where she will compete in the sport of bobsleigh. In 2022, she made history by becoming the first African gold medalist in an international bobsleigh race. She continued to break new ground in February 2024 when she became the first African athlete to compete in the Bobsleigh World Championships, marking a century-long milestone in the sport's history. Born in Toronto, Canada, to Nigerian parents, Simidele moved to Ibadan, Nigeria as an infant, where she lived for 6 years before relocating to the United States. Her athletic journey began in high school with track and field, where she excelled as a four-time NCAA All-American and became the triple jump record holder at the University of Kentucky. However, she narrowly missed qualifying for the Olympics by just 8 inches and retired from track and field in June 2008. Simidele's interest in skeleton was sparked in December 2016 when she learned about the Nigerian bobsled team's attempt to qualify for the Winter Olympics. Hailed as a role model for Africa and beyond by the New York Times, Simidele is also an influential figure off the track. She's an Obama Foundation leader, a Yale University World Fellow, an inspirational speaker, and the author of the children's book Slay, Slay, Slay All Day, which encourages young readers to dream big and break barriers.
She grabbed her sled and skipped toward the big, sweeping hill. Down the hill she went. For a moment, Damilola slayed. Then she hit a bump, landing on her bottom with a big thud. Yikes! But what do you do when you fall? You remember how brave you are and try again. No matter how often you fall, true victory lies in finding your power from within. You're ready to slay.
She's the founder of the Sim Slays Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to empowering women and girls through sport. The foundation's signature programs include the Athlete Grant Program, which provides funding and essential resources to underrepresented female Olympic and Paralympic athletes, and the Leadership Program, which aims to impact girls by fostering leadership skills and promoting gender equality in sport.
Sport has done so much in my life, and so it's really about sharing that joy with all of these young leaders and helping them to accomplish their goals. Really, it started when I came back from the Olympics. I wanted to make an impact, and I wanted to show girls that they have positive role models who care about them, who want to see them develop and grow to be the best that they can.
We'll return after a quick break. Simidele Adiabo shares insights on her journey into Olympic sports, the challenges she faced, and her efforts to help women and girls through sport. Please stay with us. Joining us on Diaspora Network now is Olympian Simidele Adiabo. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want to start with your early years because I think you've had, an array of experiences being born in Canada, moving to Nigeria at some point, and then also living in the United States. How did that influence you as a child, your worldview, and of course, your career path?
Yeah, so I have had the privilege of kind of having a multicultural background. I feel that I got the grit and the determination from, spending my early years in Nigeria and having that anchor of the culture, but also getting a lot of different exposure to various things, including winter sports, having lived in Canada and the US as well. So it's really kind of the best of both worlds. And I love that I can tap into those experiences. And it's really shaped kind of my view of the world. And also shaped kind of how I approach going after things and big goals.
I mean, you initially made your mark in track and field before transitioning to skeleton racing. What motivated you to switch sports? And how did your background in track and field help in this transition? And basically, was it an easy one for you to do?
Yeah, I mean, my original Olympic dream was to be a summer Olympian. So I saw myself very much in the sunshine and in warm weather conditions. And that was what I pursued for many years. And I thought that that was going to be how my Olympic dream unfolded. Unfortunately, I did try out a couple of times for the Summer Olympics, but just came up a bit short. And years passed, and then the opportunity to become a Winter Olympian crossed my path. And that was always rooted in a bigger purpose, because what I discovered through exploring the winter sport path was that there was lots of history to be made on that road. No African woman, no Black woman, no Nigerian athlete, period, had ever competed at the Winter Olympics, specifically in the sport of skeleton. And so for me, it was really an opportunity that was rooted in deeper purpose. And also from my track and field background, I could transfer some of those skills. So you need to be fast, powerful, explosive. And, I carried those over into skeleton, and that really helped my transition. Although I will say, those who have seen the sport, you're going headfirst down an ice track at about 120 kilometers an hour. And so you have to really be brave to do that sport. And so just getting over that initial shock to the system was a big step. And once I got through that portion, then I just had to learn the skill of actually driving the sled successfully down the track. So that was probably the hardest part, because that is a steep learning curve and takes years to really master.
And it's not really a sport that's known with Nigerians. I'm interested in how your parents and families, were introduced to it and their understanding of the sports as well.
Yeah, it's definitely not a sport that's familiar to Nigerians. So when I first shared this ambition with my family, they were in shock as well. I think they didn't really know how to take it. But they said, "Hey, we'll pray for you." And I said, "Okay, prayer is always good." So I welcome that. But I think at the onset, they weren't really sure what I was getting into. I wasn't even really sure, and the way that I ended up at my first Olympics was also very unconventional, because it was something that unfolded in about 100-day period. So it all happened really fast. So it was a lot for my family to take in, but they were supportive. And I just step by step, day by day, tried to get better and better. And then I found myself making history in 2018, and my whole family came to the Olympics, which were no journey to success. It goes without challenges. That is part and parcel of anybody who does anything that they want to be successful in. And so for me, the challenges stem from, coming from Nigeria. We don't have infrastructure for winter sports. So that is a challenge. We don't have the facilities to support training. We also don't have, the major funding behind us to do the sport. These sports are some of the most expensive sports in all of the Olympics. So you really need some major financial support to be able to be successful at a high level. The other challenge we face is that, we're new to the sport. Myself and my teammates, when we made history in 2018, that was the first time any team from Nigeria, any team from Africa, for bobsleigh specifically, had ever gone to the Winter Olympics. And so we're competing against teams that have, century-long history in the sport. Teams like Germany, Switzerland. And what comes with that is knowledge, experience, coaches. And that's something we just don't have in Nigeria because we're so new to the sport. So those are definitely challenges that I have to overcome every time I step onto the track. I celebrate that as a victory because of everything that has to happen off the track just to get to the starting line. I'm breaking barriers every day. And so it takes a lot of determination. When the obstacles come, I just refuse to let them stop me. So I just got to keep going. There's lots of history to be made. I proudly represent Nigeria, and I'm going to keep going toward the next Olympics to do that in 2026.
Yeah, and I'm sure, representing Nigeria on the global stage has been just one of your proudest moments. But just talk to us about how important it was for you and what message, you hope to send to other young Nigerians, especially girls, through your achievements.
Yes, the achievements are just meant to, inspire. That, like I said, the whole journey for me has always been rooted in purpose from the beginning. I thought if I could achieve this from a very improbable situation, Nigeria, a country with no snow, no ice, limited infrastructure in terms of the sport, then anything really is possible. And that's the message that I hope to send, that, there will be obstacles, there will be challenges, but through determination, through grit, which is something we have as a natural part of us as Nigerians, you can achieve anything. So significance and the bigger impact that I hope that through my sport, I'm making.
And you're known not only for your athletic achievements, but also for your advocacy work. Tell us more about your initiatives with Simi Slay's Foundation.
Yeah, so the Simi Slay's Foundation is my foundation. It's a nonprofit organization. We're on a mission to build a better world for girls and women through sport. And it's really about inspiring women to do great things, not only inspiring them, but empowering them with the tools that they need. And so we support elite female athletes on the Olympic and Paralympic level. So right now, as the Paris Olympics are ongoing, we have 2 athletes that we've supported to get to Paris. We have another one coming up in the Paralympic Games in a few weeks. So we offer these athletes not only financial support, but also develop them holistically as athletes, because we know athletes have a platform and we want to use that platform to create positive change in the world. So that's part of what we do, but we also empower the next generation of girls and make sure that they're equipped with leadership skills. And so we have a program that targets adolescent girls ages 13 to 17. And it's really about how do we impart those critical leadership competencies within them so that they can go on and be change makers in their own right.
What would you say keeps you going, and what can we look out for in the future in terms of your career and also advocacy work?
Yeah, what keeps me going is that there's so much work to do. We take one step forward, but there's always the next step and the next step. So I like to say there is no finish line to the work that we're doing. As the Simi Slay's Foundation, we are on the road to providing grants of up to $1 million in the next decade to female athletes. And we want to implement our leadership program to 1 million girls. So big goals for our future in the next decade. And as an athlete, I always have more goals. This season, and earlier this year, I was able to compete in the World Championships. That was a first for any African athlete. I finished in the top 20. And to me, that is a huge step forward. And that signifies that not only can I participate, can we as Africans participate, but we can contend with the best in the world. So I have my eyes squarely set on the Milano Cortina 2026 Games, and I plan to be there. And perhaps, Africa the continent has never won a medal at the Winter Olympics. Who knows? Maybe I could be that first person to do that, first athlete to do that. So I'm super excited about that coming up in just under 2 years' time in Milano Cortina, Italy in 2026.
We're definitely rooting for you, and we'll be here celebrating you when you do achieve that. Olympian Simidele Adiabu, it's been a pleasure having you on Diaspora Network. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And that wraps up another inspiring episode of Diaspora Network. Remember, you can find more amazing stories of Nigerians making their mark on the global stage on our YouTube channel and website, channelstv.com. Until next time, I'm Teniola Oyetayo. Bye for now.